This is the Surly Grognards for November 9th, 2015. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing all right.
Most excellent. So, let's get the big elephant out of the room, because we're on the precipice of a big video game release, and one that's near and dear to both of our hearts.
Powered armored cannibals with chain guns marching down Lansdowne Street.
Not sure
That's going to be my enclave. Screw you.
Fair enough. I'm not positive you can go the cannibal route, but it wouldn't surprise me if you
Well,
could.
you've always been able to. I know, because I always do.
Right, and I never do.
Right.
Because I always look at that perk and I go, there's so many things I'd rather have than that.
Yeah, but I'm just amused by eating people.
I know you are, Eric, because
I find it really funny.
I know you do.
Weird kind of way.
Because you have a warped sense of humor, Eric.
I do.
So yes, Fallout 4 comes out in something under 5 hours when we're recording this. I was moderately excited. I was not like, oh my god, because I love Fallout. I love the Fallout universe. I've kind of enjoyed Fallout 3. And I've really enjoyed Fallout New Vegas, despite the various programming issues, thanks to both Bethesda and Obsidian on those two games. That said, New Vegas, in my opinion,
I was kind of the same way about Fallout 4 until I saw their video, and I was like, oh my god, you get to customize your powered armor? And the powered armor is actually a big, bulky, robot suit, not just, some metal plates you duct tape to yourself? Holy crap, I need this now!
Right,
You couldn't tell I love powered armor.
Eric loves power armor almost as much as he likes mecha.
It's true. It's tough.
Almost. It's very
Giant
close.
robots or robot suit. I mean, come on. It's a tough choice. Ideally, you're wearing a robot suit while in a giant robot.
I can see that. While piloting an even bigger robot.
Yes. Gurren Lagann, baby.
Yeah. At any rate, I was sort of, I was anticipating it. I was looking forward to it. I was happy about it, but I wasn't stoked for it until it turns out that Bethesda decided to do a brilliant bit of PR, in that they allowed some of the sort of big name streamers on Twitch, and maybe on some other services, I don't know, but I'm only certain about Twitch, to start. They actually start playing it on stream this morning at 8 a.m. And so I actually happened to wake up pretty early this morning because I went to bed at a reasonable hour for once in my life last night. And
I've never done that.
I was up at 8 a.m., so I started watching one of these guys whom I actually occasionally watch. Because I knew that watching the beginning wouldn't really bother me.
Right.
It wouldn't spoil too much for me. And there was a lot of stuff in there that I was sort of a little bit lukewarm on. And I've been turned around on most of what I was lukewarm on. Like the removal of skills. There's no skill. All Fallout games have had a skill system. It's gone now. There are base stats and perks. And that's it. And it looks like
dig that.
It's very similar to the system that Skyrim uses, except that the interface is actually good.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of important.
Yeah,
And Skyrim's one of my favorite games, but not gonna lie, you need a mod to make the game work terribly well.
Yeah, the user interface for Fallout 4 looks like it's just been improved over basically all of Bethesda's UIs. It's just better than they've had in the past.
Nice.
From what I've seen. I don't know if it's perfect. I haven't used it yet. There's a very different sort of effect of watching someone do it and doing it yourself. They've changed how looting containers works. When you sort of mouse over it and sort of you look at it, it tells you what's in it.
Oh.
And then you choose what you want out of it. You don't have to open it to look what's in it first. It sort of automatically does that for you, kind of.
That's kind of cool.
So they've streamlined a bunch of stuff in ways that actually I think are definitively for the better. As I said, I normally love skill systems in RPGs. Love them to death. But I think the one big thing they've done is, by doing what they did, it's made it so you really like. For instance, like one of the classic things in a lot of Fallout games is you can sell charisma down the river because you just spend more skill points to buy off the penalty to that on your speech stats and such.
Right.
That doesn't. Since there's no speech skill in the game, your speech skill is your charisma stat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It turns out that's actually a really it's it's like normally I'd be like but you can spend when you level up you get a perk point, and your stats you can use perk points to level your stats. It's what you could by taking intensive training in the other Fallout games.
Right.
But now that's simultaneously like raising your stat and the skills that are based on it. Because
by doing it this way, you're just that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a nice streamlined way of doing it.
It is. It really is. And you have a lot of perks have level and stat requirements for them.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I was watching. I'm like I knew that was what it was going to do, but until I saw it in action, the implications of it didn't fully sink in. And I think that's going to improve. That's going to make it's going to make it streamlines everything, and I think that it's doing it in a way that will work for the better. I'm not sure how much I don't know. I will see. I will see how I feel about it as I play. Also depends on how many perks you get, how many levels you get in the game, so how many perks how many times you can raise stuff.
Right.
I don't know what that total is. I'm intentionally not looking it up. I basically said, you know what? I don't want to know don't want to know too much mechanically. I want to sort of figure stuff out as I'm going. If I'm going to be playing it right after launch, I want to basically, from a gameplay standpoint, I want to go into it fresh and kind of blind.
That makes sense. Was this the thing you were telling me that would make me really excited about the game?
No.
Okay, what is that?
Do you really want me to spoil it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to forget in a couple months anyway.
All right. Well, in the first few hours of the game, which I was watching, in the first sort of major town you walk up to, towards the end of it, you actually get your power armor.
Fuck yeah!
See, I told you.
No more spending 3/4 of the game running around looking for the fucking, Brotherhood of Steel Enclave and then running fucking fetch quests for him to get your suit.
Yeah, exactly.
So much better!
And I was concerned about that because I was like,
because the game doesn't start until you've got the suit.
Here's the reason I was concerned about it, is I was worried about it from a game balance standpoint.
Okay.
Because it's like, I was like, I want there to be good reasons good options to not be in power armor, and getting it that early is sort of I was worried about it. Then I found something out.
What's that?
You actually have to do. There's one other sort of thing you have to track with your power armor. Power.
Ah.
You start off with one fusion core in the suit, and and if it runs out, you have to find more for it.
That makes sense.
And I was like, oh my god, that's fucking brilliant.
All right. I need to dam the Charles and build a hydraulic dam to power my power suit.
Yes. I will. Yeah. But you start off with you get the suit. It looks like pretty typical power armor, Fallout power armor.
Yeah, I always like to look at the Fallout power
I do too.
armor.
It looks good.
Particularly there's more recent design, which is similar to the original, but is much bulkier and looks more like
it's
exoframe.
It's definitely an exoskeleton. You climb into it. It's actually really cool. The animation for getting into it and getting out of it is cool. But there's reasons to not run around in your power armor all the time, which I like. I mean, beyond the New Vegas,
and beyond the fact that you can't sneak at all because you've got whirring servos and your footsteps go ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
And they do.
That's awesome.
The other really cool thing I saw from watching it, which was revealed in one of the videos where there's a video that they did, sort of promo video where they show the main character fighting a Deathclaw and watching her dancing back and forth, dodging your gunfire. Which
oh my
is
god,
one
they
of those,
weren't already scary enough?
Oh, Eric, you do not understand. So they do that. A bunch of enemies do that.
That's really cool.
The other, I was watching someone fighting some feral ghouls, and they're fast and dodgy, which was actually moderately terrifying. The other thing I noticed is that when the guy was watching, basically went up to a roof somewhere and started sniping at them, and when the mobs realized they couldn't get to him, They ran away and hid.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, when the mobs actually have enough AI to realize, I can't win this fight, I'm not staying here. To which my reaction is, wait, what? And the game...
That is really cool.
The gameplay looks really fluid, too. It's smooth, I was impressed. I was legitimately impressed from what I saw this morning. I will have more to say about it when I actually play it, and I will be starting as soon as I can, because I'm insane. There's still a few minor glitches here and there. I did see the other really cool thing is that which I'd heard sort of something about, but I didn't think about it, is you actually found a settlement where you can where you build it up and you can build buildings and such.
Yeah,
the crafting system,
videos about that.
The crafting system for the buildings, watching it in action, looked really cool. And so I was watching like the little settlement that the guy started, and he was wandering around like talking to people. And there's this one woman who was inside the main building, which he'd set up with their beds and such. And then all of a sudden he was like watching around and saying, "Where did she go?" Looked up and she was on the roof. There was no ladder to get to the top of the building or anything like that. She apparently glitched from her bed to the top of the building.
Awesome.
Bethesda.
Yes. Well, at least it wasn't a flying backwards dragon.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't see any crashes when I was watching.
That's amazing
on
for
a day one launch for Bethesda is unheard of.
It's a master crafted Bethesda game there.
Like, this is looking like it's actually fairly polished. I don't know how the writing is yet. Can't speak to that yet because, it's, again, it's too early. I haven't played it. I haven't had a chance to really digest the writing. And honestly, Bethesda game, like, I'll be interested to see if there's any, like, sort of consequences to your actions. And if people, like, when you achieve things, if people notice that the way, because that doesn't happen in most Bethesda games.
Right.
Like Skyrim. I become the leader of the Fighters Guild and the Archmage, and who are you again? Oh, I'm the...
Hey, man. The guards definitely pay attention when you accidentally pick up that fruit.
Right. Exactly. Oh, they notice that, but they don't care who you are.
Like, seriously, I've had some guards just, like, totally just employee of the year come running up, like, through a frozen ice flow, like, to get between me and the dragon to try to arrest me.
Oh my god. But yeah, so I'm thinking it looks like I'm more optimistic about Fallout, which is a dangerous proposition.
Yeah.
Because that means it now has a chance to disappoint me. I'm not expecting it to, actually. Which is, again, mildly dangerous. That said, I'm kind of excited.
What it all boils down to, for me, is that Fallout becomes a Mad Max simulator with powered armor. If it achieves this, then I am excited.
Right.
Everything else, and every Fallout game has managed this. Everything better than that is gravy.
Yeah, I see. For me, I'm a little pickier about that sort of thing.
Sure. And there's a reason why I'll play like New Vegas for hours and hours on end and start up new games with it every few months, as opposed to like Fallout 3.
Yeah,
the writing's a lot better in New Vegas.
Yeah, well, the writing's better. There's just a lot. It's a better done game, in my opinion. Outside of the few technical issues it has that Fallout 3 doesn't.
Right.
Fallout 3 has a few that New Vegas doesn't, though. So, it'll be interesting to see how it works. The specs for the recommended specs for the game are pretty high. My computer is above the minimums, but not at the recommended.
Yeah, that might be a problem thinking about it.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm expecting it'll run. I just don't know how well it'll run. I probably won't be able to run it and have it look as pretty as some people will.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is I might
pretty.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
it's pretty.
Yeah.
The other nice touch I noticed is your character is voice acted.
Nice.
Which is a first for Fallout. They've always had voice acting in other characters, but in this one, your character is also so.
Cool. Yeah, I might need to actually look at the specs for Fallout 4 and think about some upgrades for this thing. It's getting up there in years at this point.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to go with what I got. So,
Right.
fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm moderately looking forward to it. But the thing is, the reason Eric and I are both sort of stoked about this, it's not just it's
Power
not
Armored Cannibal.
it's not just that for Eric, and it's not just the other stuff. It's
Cannibal King of Boston.
we're both big fans of Fallout, the Fallout universe overall.
Yes.
And we've talked about it before when we did the show on sort of post-apocalyptic gaming. But
Right.
there's just something about the Fallout world. It's sort of quirky combination of it's this weird sort of it's in the future, but it's got this very strange 50s retro feel.
Yeah, it's a very retrofuturism that then got blowed up.
Right, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And there's this wonderful sort of dichotomy between sort of this really bleak and depressing world with this just wonderfully pitch black humor
Oh yeah,
all over the place.
that's what makes. If Fallout was just darkety dark, grimmy grim, dark, then I'd get bored with it fairly quickly. But
It's genuinely funny. A lot, like
yes,
Fallout games, almost all of them are.
like I said, pitch black humor. I love me some dark humor, and yeah,
It's not just pitch black. It's got really good dark humor, but it's also got some stuff that's just generally, and they always manage to squeeze in some really good lighthearted moments.
yep,
And as a general rule of thumb, you have the option to be a good guy who makes a difference, which is
yes,
rare in that subgenre. In this subgenre.
absolutely.
Like a
Like,
lot in a lot of post-apocalyptic games, what you do just doesn't really matter. It
Yeah.
can matter on a very small scale, like really small scale, and that's fine, honestly. And in the right game, that's perfectly reasonable. But like you can do big things in a lot of the Fallout games, which is kind of awesome. And even when you make changes on a small scale, they generally try to make things better on a small scale. They try to make sure that you feel appreciated for doing that, even if it's not like the most effective way of doing it. Like, there's a reason a lot of people end up blowing up Megaton in Fallout 3. I don't get it, but a lot of people find the people of Megaton to be, I guess, abrasive in their sort of, in the way that they are. And my reaction is, but, they're eking out survival, and they're being genuinely thankful about, like, me helping them.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm not saying I hadn't blown up Megaton because, you do one where you're a fucking Corporal Carrot, you do one where you're friggin' Doctor Doom, and then you do one where you're in between.
I've only played through all the way through Fallout 3 once, and I did not blow up Megaton, and had no intention of doing so.
Although I've never sided with Caesar. That dude's just too much a dick.
He's also a moron.
Yeah.
I've been playing a second playthrough of New Vegas recently. I got to the point where I decided the first playthrough I was going to go talk to Caesar just to talk to him, and I forgot I had Boone with me.
Right.
And Boone really hates the Legion. The Legion was neutral with me, but Boone was having none of that and started shooting. And I'm like, right, I forgot that, and now the Legion hates me, and I can't go there now. Well, I can go there, but I have to kill everybody. Fine, whatever. So this playthrough, I decided, okay, I'm going to go talk to Caesar to see what this whole plot line's like.
Right.
I got to talk to Caesar, and I found out exactly what happens when you go there. I went there. I had double had to go there because due to the choice I made, what the person you're chasing after the early game got away from me and had run off over towards there to go get something.
Right.
And I went over there, and it turns out he was caught by the Legion over there because, duh. And so he had this thing called the Platinum Chip, which turns out it's the MacGuffin of Fallout New Vegas.
It's a Maltese Falcon.
And so, I go there. I'm talking to Caesar, and he's like, "Okay, well, here's the deal. You're going to work for me do these things I ask you to. If you don't, I won't give you the chip, but I'll give you the chip if you do." I'm like, "Okay." And So the thing is that he wants to know what's in this. He wants basically you to go down, use the chip to go down into this underground building underneath his camp,
Mm.
which he can't get into. Like, okay, so like it's the doors are impenetrable. Nothing he has will get through them. But he noticed that it's got a mark on it that matches the mark on the platinum chip, and there's a computer there that looks like it's got a thing that the platinum chip could fit into, that might open the door. And he wants me to go down there and blow up whatever's down there if it's And I was like, okay. And my first thought I'm sitting there thinking is, wait, you've got the chip, you've got troops. Why aren't you sending any of them down there to do it? Why do you need me? Why do you fucking care?
Because his people are idiots.
Yeah,
He keeps them that way so that they're easier to control.
But why is he trying to convince me to do this then? It just doesn't matter if they're idiots. Give them chip, put thing in thing, go down there, blow up what's down there. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to do this.
So where do I put the chip? I think we're supposed to eat it. Are you sure?
They're
Don't
not that
question your
stupid.
Legionnaire.
They aren't that stupid. They really aren't. But I'm like, okay, fine. So for some reason, Caesar doesn't want that. So I go down there. Mr. House gets in contact with me, tells me what to do, and tells me to use the chip to activate the systems down there. I'm like, well, fuck Caesar. Fine, sure. So I do it. And it makes a lot of noise. Stuff happens. I head back up to talk to Caesar. I'm like, I didn't blow anything up. Wonder how he's going to react to this. And Caesar's reaction is, well, we heard lots of noise. The ground shook, so I assume you blew everything up down there. And I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have to say yes. I'm like, aha. Sure. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, the next step would be, if he's smart, he'll send some of his troops down there and he'll see nothing's broken. Of course he doesn't, because he's a moron.
Right.
It's like, oh my god, really? Just send some people down there. Well, I mean, don't. I'm happy you didn't. I'm going to leave now. Next time I come back, I'm going to be punching you in the face. A lot. With a power fist. Haven't done that yet. But it's just like, wow, Caesar's dumb and infuriating and obnoxious and hateful.
Yeah. I've got no love for Caesar. Generally, I don't like slavers in general in games.
Yeah, same. That's one of my...
Like, I'll eat people. I'll murder children. But I don't do slavery.
Well, all right then. There's a line there somewhere for Eric in video games. Yeah, it's like, no. Yeah, so neither of us have sided with. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on in Fallout 4. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We can't talk too much about Fallout 4. Largely.
Oh, then we're excited to wear powered armor and rule over Boston with an iron fist. Literally, in my case, because I'm not getting out of that powered armor.
You probably will.
Only when I run out of gas and realize I've left all my power cells back at base.
Yeah.
Power armor.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. So that's where we are with Fallout. I mean, again, we both love Fallout. It's out. I've seen interesting stuff from watching some people playing it a little bit early. I'm looking forward to playing it, and I will be fairly soon. Yeah,
I'll be waiting a couple months.
Yeah, I that was my original plan, honestly. But someone was very nice and gave me a copy for my birthday.
Yeah, because that's awesome.
It was a great birthday present.
It is.
So. Yeah, we were talking, but so that's about all we really have on Fallout tonight. But we were talking before the stream. I don't know how we got onto the topic, but we started talking about Saturday morning cartoons. Oh, I remember how we got to the topic.
I don't remember how.
Oh, you brought up the you brought up I made my classic. I made my classic. Someone says, "What's up?" to me, and I say it's a preposition.
Oh, right. And then we went into
Schoolhouse
Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about started talking about Saturday morning cartoons, and I kind of want to. I kind of want to sort of go over that again, go over it on stream a bit, on recording a bit, because we've talked about a lot about cartoons over the years. A lot of it we talked about has been Japanese cartoons and anime.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've talked about a few other Western cartoons, but I don't think we've really touched on the phenomena of Saturday morning cartoons as it was when we were kids.
Yeah, and Saturday morning cartoons, like, Saturdays were sacred to me for the longest time. Like, when I got a job, I was very upset that I could not just wake up and watch my Saturday morning cartoons because I had work.
Right. And it's I don't know how much there is Saturday morning cartoons anymore as an institution.
There aren't really. I mean, you've got, like, your Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon with shows that air on Saturday morning.
Right.
But it's not really the same. It's not the same.
Yeah. Now, part of it is that there was less television available when we were kids.
Yes.
Cable wasn't really a thing. It existed, technically speaking. But like when I was really watching Saturday morning cartoons, I didn't know of anyone who had cable.
Yeah, neither did I.
So you had the 3 network stations and then whatever UHF stations you might have, which for Eric and I were the 3 network stations and then channel 56, channel 38, and channel 25.
Yep.
And most of the cartoons were on the network stations. There were some on the UHF stations, but
yeah, they tended to get them later on.
Yep.
So you could still watch the Real Ghostbusters long after it got canceled.
Well, they got that in syndication. They tend to get stuff in syndication, and they tended to air their cartoons more during the week.
Yes.
Like right after school got out, for instance, for no apparent reason.
No, I can't see any reason why you would do that. Not at all.
That was that was totally not a savvy, canny business. Oh, that was a brilliant move on their part.
Yes.
But the 3 major networks would air from round about 7 in the morning or so until noon, basically. Cartoons. All 3 stations would be running cartoons. And it was a mix of stuff from different eras, largely. Like, ABC had the right, if I remember correctly, were the ones that had the rights to Looney Tunes. And they would show, like, a block of, like, 2 to 3 hours of Looney Tunes. Every Saturday.
56 would show a lot of those older cartoons also. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, watching... the really sad thing is, well, as much as I love Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes and shit, there was a time where I was sick of them.
That never really happened to me. But I can sort of see why. I think part of it is that a lot of these Looney Tunes, like, their comic pacing really sort of hit the home for me perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, the good ones. The later stuff wasn't quite as good.
Anytime Chuck Jones or Tex Avery directed, it was almost always just fucking pure gold. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first director names I ever knew was Chuck Jones and
Tex Avery.
Tex Avery.
Yeah, but like they had that. There was one station. I forget which one stations had a lot of the really strange '70s Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah,
like the Herculoids and
Thundar the
Barbarian. Yeah, like it's like this is like this is stuff I appreciate far more.
I love that stuff also.
Like I didn't really dig it as like looking back at Thundar especially. I'm like, wow. That's really weird and really fucked up. It's like Conan except Gamma World.
Yeah, and I loved fucking Thundar, not Thundar. The one with the friggin' like rhinoceros that fired rocks out of its horn.
That was the Herculoids.
Thank you. I loved that. It had Gleep and Gloop, the 2 kidney beans.
They were amoeboids.
Yeah. Whatever those were, they look like kidney beans. They bounced around and they went.
Yeah, but they were squished out and such, and they were basically sentient amoeba.
Yeah,
which is fucking awesome. In retrospect, I didn't get that when I was 8 or 10. Like now, I look back like, holy crap, that's really fucking cool. Yeah. I just wish it wasn't Hanna-Barbera doing this.
Yeah, I mean,
because then it would have been animated.
And give it to a studio that like can fucking animate.
And the other thing is that a lot of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons...
It's part of the reason why I like Adventure Time. It was just this surreal, like, mash of completely batshit insanity.
Yeah. The thing is the problem with those Hanna-Barbera cartoons is they were entirely episodic.
Yeah.
I don't know how well they'd fly now, as written. because that there's no ongoing storyline in any of them at all.
Well, you didn't do
Well,
ongoing storylines in cartoons,
no, because they were for
like
kids.
at all. It was part of the reason why Japanese animation took off the way it did was because kids are like, "Holy shit! There's a storyline. I need to follow this. I need to watch it all the time." And then everyone else went, "Holy shit! Kids will pay attention if we give them an ongoing storyline."
I mean, that's why Star Blazers hooked me the way it did.
Same with Robotech.
And Robotech too, no question. But like,
Like,
Star Blazers hit like a fucking hammer on with me. It's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, whatever. I don't remember how old I was. I was like 8 or 9 when it first aired in the States, and it just like, or even younger than that. It just like, out of nowhere, I'm like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever.
dude, I cried when Roy Fokker died.
I believe it.
I was like, "No, you can't kill Roy. He's not dead. He'll be on there on the next episode. You watch. They don't kill people in cartoons." Oh my god, Roy's dead.
Uh-huh.
It took me 3 episodes to believe it, and then I cried.
I mean, but yeah. I don't want to get onto the anime thing because we've talked about that
Because we've done
specific
that
thing.
tons and tons.
But yeah, like there was just a lot of really like, but even like the episodic stuff, some of it was really fun and good. Like as I said,
The Herculoids.
the Herculoids was fun, but it wasn't very good. But like Looney Tunes, it's comedy, so it's going to be it's sketch comedy in animated form, basically.
And every once in a while, they do some of the really weird shit Chuck Jones would do. You'd think Tex Avery would do more of the weird shit, but he got most of his weirdness off in his mainstream stuff. But like, I can't remember the name of it, but one of my favorite cartoons from that time, one of the Chuck Jones shorts, was a story about a lion and a scribble both trying to romance a dot.
Yes, that was a brilliant bit of animation,
And I loved that fucking thing.
Well,
It would hold me enraptured no matter what I was doing as soon as it came on.
right, and like my favorite sort of animated short of all time is one of the most surreal fucking things you will ever see, which is Duck Amuck.
Yeah. Duck Amuck's fucking great.
It's brilliant. It's just sheer. It's hilarious. It's weird. It's the animator fucking with Daffy Duck, and it's just like
And Daffy calls him on it. Daffy just, like, fourth wall, we don't need that. Dude, stop fucking around. Why do I have flower petals around my head? And now I'm a quadruped. Fuck you.
because you'd see the animator's pencil coming down, erasing things and redrawing them. And
Yes.
it's just like, what? That's just like that's amazing. It's brilliant. And I love that. And like, but the thing was, as much as we both love Saturday morning cartoons, we loved them to death. Looking back at, there's a lot of bad stuff that was airing
a lot
then.
of crap.
Because like a good chunk of that was like advertisements for video games and toys.
Oh, yeah.
Like people go on about like the Transformers being a giant advertisement for the toys, and it was literally. Same with GI Joe. But
Same with G.I. Joe.
they were at least well done, and they, for the most part.
For the most part. Yeah. And
But like there was like the video game tie-ins during the '80s were like
Jesus.
there was a Pac-Man cartoon, there was
there's
Pole
a
Position,
Kubert cartoon.
there was a Q*bert fucking cartoon. Yeah, what the fuck?
And I remember enjoying the Kubert cartoon, but not really, mostly because I thought the snake was cool.
But like think
And
about
I couldn't.
that.
Yeah.
Like Pac-Man, they at least like try to make it like okay, he's got like a house and like the ghosts are actual characters. Q*bert, like I can't see it. Like what's the conflict in Q*bert? I mean,
I don't know. It was like set in like a 50s diner, and like the
fuck?
snake was a greaser. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
all
like-
I fucking remember.
what? They made
You know,
a
the snake wasn't a greaser. The snake was a biker, because I remember somehow, despite not having any arms, it wore a leather jacket and one of those leather caps.
right. Oh my god! And there's a Rubik's Cube cartoon. A Rubik's Cube cartoon.
You know what? I still don't believe that actually existed. I've seen it, and I'm certain I watched it, but no, it was clearly a fever dream, like Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse didn't happen.
No, it did.
Danger
And
Mouse is fucking awesome.
And Danger Mouse is amazing. But like, there's all this stuff, like all these really crap cartoons all over the place.
Well,
and-
the prevailing theory was that you could just throw whatever on the screen and kids would watch it, and it would sell advertising space.
And it often did.
Yes.
Because it was animated and there was stuff happening, and woo.
It wasn't until the 90s. I mean, for as much as I lambast the 90s were really sort of the a cartoon renaissance.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, because you ended up having like Batman the Animated Series and Animaniacs and
Oh sure. But look,
yeah,
there were a few really good
Gargoyles.
shows. There were a few really good shows on during the '80s. There were some that even some of the video game tie-ins were surprisingly not bad.
I
Like
kind of liked Captain N.
I can
Not gonna lie.
I can understand that. I actually really enjoyed both the Dragon's Lair and Space Ace cartoons.
Yep.
Those were at least
Yeah,
well
yeah,
animated.
those are great.
Those were at least well animated. I mean, they weren't as well. They were weirdly not as well animated by as the video games were because.
Well, that's because the video games were Don Bluth experimenting with the video games.
Yeah.
And Don Bluth is a fucking genius.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to check something quickly before I forget.
Oh, Azul mentions the D&D cartoon.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That was a thing, and I was like... I remember thinking D&D looked really cool. And being exposed to it mostly by there being a monstrous manual in my grade school library.
Right.
And thinking, this is really awesome. And I want to know more about this. And there was a cartoon. Awesome, I'll watch the cartoon. This is clearly not what they intended.
But they did start getting some actual like ongoing storyline stuff in the mid to late '80s.
Yes.
And there's one in particular that I think both of us absolutely fucking adored.
Name it.
The Real Ghostbusters.
Hell yeah, Real Ghostbusters.
And it was groundbreaking, honestly. And I've recently found out more about what went on with it.
Yeah, I think we both watched the same video series.
Yeah, Phalis did a brilliant two-part series on the Real Ghostbusters. Absolutely brilliant. It's some of his best work, in my opinion. And
yeah.
I
certainly his best research stuff.
it's up there. But like I sat there, like you watch it, and I watched this thing, and I was like, oh, it just never sunk in what happened and why I just walked away from Real Ghostbusters because I did. Because
everyone did.
Because broadcast standards brought in this consulting group to fix the show. Apparently, actually, they brought the consulting group told them they could help them fix the show, which apparently it needed fixing, despite the fact it was like one of the most popular cartoons.
Yeah, it was one of their highest shows at the time. Highest rated shows.
It was their highest rated cartoon. Period. It was ABC's highest rated cartoon. Period.
Yep.
It's like because it was brilliant, and and John Michael Straczynski, JMS, the guy who gave us Babylon 5, he was the showrunner for the show.
Yep.
He wrote a bunch of the episodes. I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
I didn't know that until like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, what? Oh, that explains everything. And like the consulting group came in and they gave a bunch of things to change the show, and JMS was like, if I have to do these, I quit. And he quit.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff they wanted to change was fucking stupid. For instance,
get rid of Ray. Ray was the fucking heart of that show. Ray and Egon were my favorite characters.
Yeah, there's that. They wanted to. They decided that Janine was wrong.
Yeah, Janine was too awesome. We need to make her
lame.
Yeah.
Also, kids are scared of her glasses apparently because they're sharp.
Dude, you had the fucking Boogeyman, the most terrifying thing I've ever seen animated. That includes some Japanese horror. And you are telling me that Janine's glasses are scaring me.
You're talking about Janine's glasses in a show with a horror theme.
Yeah.
It's a horror comedy theme.
Which makes it awesome.
But they fight Cthulhu at one point. And Janine's glasses are a problem? And she's not nurturing? Fuck you! Janine kicked
awesome.
ass.
She talked back and kept everyone in line. She was great.
She was amazing. She was smart. She was witty. She was...
And I remember an episode, and it turns out this is one where Straczynski came back because he wanted to turn Janine back, and they wanted to bring him back.
They wanted to bring him back because the show was floundering, and he said, I will only come back if I'm allowed to fix Janine.
And I was like, wow, that's a really good way to explain how the way Janine evolved over the series. That's great. My little kid self thought.
Yeah, it didn't work out as well as he'd hoped, but
yeah, I thought it was great.
He tried so hard.
He really did. I'm amazed the man still worked in television after that.
Oh well, and after what he had to go through in Babylon 5, he never did again.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
No, he ran screaming from television. I do not blame him.
Like, there are a lot of people that very creative people whose work I admire a great deal, who have tried their hands at television and went, nope, 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 nope. Like Mjolnir, Warren Ellis. Early Ellis is better than late Ellis.
Yes.
Like a bunch of people just like tried their hands, are like, nope, not doing this. Bye.
But yeah, I just, oh my god, But like, it's really interesting. Like looking looking back at that, like they managed to really do this brilliant job of just this. There was some ongoing story there. There was actual story. There was actual conflict. The characters developed over time. And it was Real Ghostbusters is it's one of the best cartoons I've ever seen. And like the other big thing that the change they were was forced on them was making Slimer important. Like the show became Slimer in the Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Slimer in the Real Ghostbusters.
And that actually was where I realized that was actually
because I remember like Slimer was like. And the animation quality dropped considerably. I noticed this even as a little kid. Like, wow, the animation budget really went off a cliff. Oh, I didn't know that was a reason at the time, but this isn't moving as well as it could. I don't like this anymore.
Yeah, it's just, oh my god. But yes, like I was never a big fan of Slimer as a character in the show. Like never. I
thought Slimer was cool because he was this like horrible little flying green blob that devoured things and you couldn't understand what he could say.
Sure.
Except occasionally when he'd slip in a curse word every once in a while.
Oh god.
But then you started to be able to make out what he was saying, and no one called him on his shit anymore, and
you knew you were in trouble when Peter was siding with Slimer.
Yeah.
Which was like the antithesis of what Peter hated the little thing because it was
Peter
an
did
obnoxious.
not hate him. Peter thought he was awesome, but he had this whole like tsundere thing going on.
No, he didn't. He hated Slimer because Slimer was an awful, horrible little spud of ectoplasm. Oh my god. But like the only thing that saved Slimer, and it really did save Slimer to a large degree, was the fact that Frank Welker is a fucking genius.
Yeah,
and did this amazing job voice acting him. Like Welker's a genius. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah, no, he's an amazing voice actor who does not get enough credit.
I mean, the voice acting in that show is amazing. I mean,
yeah,
it just.
Although I always thought it was weird that Garfield sounded like Peter Venkman.
Yeah, it turns out, that's Maurice LaMarche's voice. Is it Maurice LaMarche? No, that was Lorenzo Music. Sorry, Lorenzo Music. Maurice LaMarche was Egon.
Right.
Yeah, Lorenzo Music. It turns out Lorenzo Music. I mean, like he doesn't do like he did. There were similar
I think
voices.
He's dead now, unfortunately.
I think he is too. But
yeah, he was.
No, he's still alive. No, yeah, he passed. He's still alive.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he died in 2001. Sorry.
Okay, I thought
I just
so.
looked up. I was looking at the wrong line. But
yeah, he was both the voice of Garfield and of Slimer, or of Peter Bankman. Sorry.
Yep.
I was looking at the chat and saw Megatron. I was like, oh yeah, Peter Welkman.
Peter Welker did. Frank Welker was amazing. He did a lot of stuff. Well, it's just like there was a brilliant show and I loved it to pieces. And there was a bunch of cartoons that came out like there's just a bunch of stuff that came out in that era.
There was the Ghostbusters cartoon, which was Filmation's attempt to cash in on Ghostbusters' popularity.
Yeah.
So still owned the TV rights to that name.
Because there's the original show Ghostbusters, which was on Black.
Which I kind of liked because it had sort of a. It wasn't good.
No.
Even as a little kid, I realized it wasn't good. But there's a weird sort of like guilty pleasure aspect to it because it involved a gorilla and then like having this real sort of like 20s pulp feel to things.
Right.
And, I had a gorilla. Gorillas are awesome. But Yeah, and I would get annoyed when I think that like it was the real Ghostbusters and it was this other cartoon. Like, cause the other cartoon was fine once in a while as long as I knew what I was getting into. But here, next, Ghostbusters, awesome. Oh, it's this one. Oh,
It's Ghostbusters, not the real Ghostbusters.
yeah. Well, I never like it took me the longest time to figure out the difference between the two names.
Oh, it took me exactly 2 episodes of to being fooled twice, and I'm like, wait a minute, okay, I got it.
This isn't Ghostbusters, but it does have a gorilla and a beanie riding around in a car, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it didn't grab me as much. Although I admit that I think the part of the difference is I'm a little bit older than Eric is, so
Yeah,
I was not as much the target demo, shall we say? Now, mind you, intelligent gorillas I think are awesome when they're done well, but I don't generally like them when they're played for comedy
yeah.
or
Well,
pure comedy. And like
speaking of intelligent gorillas, can we just diverge briefly into Overwatch and how I need more and more Wilson in my life?
yeah,
Why is that not a cartoon? Why can I not have a cartoon that's just Tracer and Wilson running around fighting bad guys?
from what little I've seen of Overwatch, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I've not seen enough of Overwatch to speak on it.
Well, I haven't played the game. It's in closed beta.
I've seen
I've
seen
seen
people
enough
streaming
footage of it, and yeah, I'm sold. I'll get that game, and I will be a giant gorilla in powered armor with a lightning cannon.
I've watched some people playing it online. There are a bunch of streamers were able to stream the closed beta when they got in. It looked neat.
But yeah, more importantly, what I want is a fucking cartoon that's Tracer and Wilson running around fighting bad guys.
Sure,
Occasionally
why not?
hanging out with what's his name, Reinhardt, the giant mecha knight with the rocket-powered hammer.
I don't remember the names of all the characters. Yeah. I remember those two in particular. The two you mentioned, Wilson and Tracer in particular,
Because they're in the awesome trailer.
Yeah, partially. But yeah, it looks like a neat thing.
Yeah.
I've always had a soft spot for the intelligent gorilla character. It's interesting that they're generally villains in comic books.
Yeah.
Because I don't know,
It's the whole like man beast thing.
Yeah, I think it is. But some of them are great. Like Gorilla Grodd's amazing.
Gorilla fucking Grodd, man.
He's amazing. The Ultra Humanite is great. DC has a lot of them, by the way.
Yeah. Because they're awesome.
But what's the
Marvel
name?
doesn't have any. It's not. Well, at least not that I can think of.
No, not really. Marvel's always sort of tended to try to be a bit more grounded.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is fine. I like the fact that there's that difference there. It's a good thing.
No, absolutely.
But it's one of the things I fell in love with in the later versions of the Champions universe for the Champions role playing game is the introduction of the character Dr. Silverback, who is a sentient, hyper intelligent silverback gorilla who's a gadgeteer. He has power armor and glasses, and he's great. And he shows up in Champions Online, the MMO.
He does. He's a quest monkey.
Yeah, literally. But it's like but it's Doctor. How can you not love Doctor Silverback? A, great
awesome.
name.
Yeah.
B, he's a silverback gorilla in power armor wearing glasses who's a gadgeteer. He has a doctorate. He's fantastic. I mean, oh my god. I mean, one of my absolute favorite moments from any of the Champions games I ever ran was involved my brother. My brother made a character in one of the games I ran where he was playing a hyper intelligent gorilla from the future who was sent back in time to save the future by making fixes in the past.
Right.
Which is a wonderful character. The best part is he was in the same campaign with our friend Tox. My friend Tox in the same campaign was playing a hyper-intelligent anthropomorphous fox from even further in the future who'd been sent back in time to fix things. But of course, this was sort of like a quasi quantum futures thing where things would branch, as they were from two different branches of the future. And in Tox's future, like they were the apes had taken over. It was sort of a Planet of the Apes type thing.
Right.
And so he came back, and the two of them had like immediate sort of like, oh my god, like he had oh my god, what the hell? They've come back to break things, and it's like, and it turns out that no, Malik is actually like the nicest gorilla you'll ever meet. It's like this great. He was a cybernetic gorilla from the future,
So
which
the
is
opposite
amazing.
of my cybernetic gorilla from the future.
Yeah, except Malikwe was a little bit less. Well, he wasn't a jammer.
He wasn't stoned all the time
No, he wasn't.
because he wasn't a cybernetic gorilla who was totally not ripping on Cheech and Chong.
The best part is my favorite moment in the whole thing was when my brother actually explained his character's lack of money. So he came back, sent back with appropriate money because they're not stupid. They did that.
Right.
So he comes back. He's like looking around, just like looks around, looks at the newspapers, reads some stuff, sees something, buying something with money, looks at his Confederate script, balls it up and throws it in the trash. He's like, of course,
That's awesome.
because the timeline that they were aiming for, because what caused everything was the South won.
Right.
He's just like, well, I'm in the wrong past. I can't get back. Well, time to make sure that nothing like what my future where my future came from happens. So, time to be a superhero. Done.
Done.
It's a great It was a wonderful superhero backstory. He had reason to need to like work with people and such because he's in the wrong past. All his information is on the wrong history.
That is great. Looks at his Confederate script. Fuck.
It's like Confederate. Oh, Confederate States of America. No. All right. This is not what we planned for.
This is unanticipated.
Oh my god. Just the interactions between 30th Century Fox and Bleakway were great. And yes, the Fox was called 30th Century
30th
Fox.
century, because of course he was.
He was from the 30th century. Also, it's just, oh my god. Oh god, but yeah, I have this really soft spot in my heart for that character. In part because it's hyper intelligent, sentient, cybernetic gorilla as a superhero.
And that's great.
That campaign had a lot of interesting characters, shall we say? That campaign had 3 non-human characters who were all animals, effectively. Because we had 30th Century Fox, we had Malikwe, and we had Battle Bear.
Oh, that was on Battle Bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had, the cybernetic gorilla from the future, the anthropomorphic fox from the future, and the hyper-intelligent circus bear who built his own battlesuit. But couldn't actually,
Battle Bear sure loves honey.
Yeah, because he couldn't talk. He's a bear, so he had to build something that would basically translate his thoughts, but it had a little mind of its own, and would occasionally speak out his surface thoughts at wrong times occasionally, because it was funny.
Yes.
And it was. It was hilarious. The other thing is that Battle Bear. I love Battle Bear from the standpoint of he is one of my favorite has one of my favorite answers for what do you do when the battlesuit guy is caught without his armor or the bad guys find a way to disable his armor? Well, it turns out that it's a fucking bear.
A bear.
He's a bear. The suit doesn't amplify his strength in any. Because it doesn't need to. He's a bear. It gives him armor. It gives him blasters and lets him fly. He doesn't need to enhance his strength. He's a bear. What do you do? It's like, I've disabled your armor. What do you do now, Battle Bear? Oh, you really are Bear. I didn't see that coming.
Battle Bear is upset that he can no longer talk. Wait, he can! Battle Bear is happy now.
Good thing he didn't manage to disable the translator. Oh, I just... But yeah, it's just the sheer just sort of hilarity of that sort of stuff. But yeah, back to cartoons though.
Back to cartoons.
We got sidetracked because we always get sidetracked.
We got sidetracked by cybernetic gorillas.
Which are awesome.
They are. They really are.
I'm trying to remember some of the other cartoons that were like sort of classics during the 80s that I'm not as fond of. The
thing is, if you're not fond of them, you typically don't remember them unless it's with a burning hatred.
The really interesting thing was, as much as I'm not a fan of it, I actually have a lot of respect for the Smurfs.
Yeah.
I respect that show. It wasn't my thing. It never was my thing. I'm less disdainful of it now than I was when I was a kid. I didn't like it when I was a kid. I didn't watch the Smurfs, although I kind of had
I
to see.
watched it because it was Fantasy Fair in an era with zero Fantasy Fair.
Yeah, exactly. With very little of it. It was neat. And there was also the knockoff, the Snorks, which was Smurfs underwater and not nearly as good.
Oh, I forgot the Snorks were a thing that existed.
Oh my god, the Snorks. That was bad. That was really not
That
good.
really was terrible. Well, there were a lot of terrible. There was one about like Native American bears that were like.
I don't remember that one. I actually
were...
don't remember that one. But I do remember one other classic spin-off. Droids.
Yeah, Droids is pretty fucking awesome.
And the Ewok one, the one with Wicket, which was actually also pretty... Made the Ewoks tolerable.
Yeah.
Really kind of astonishing.
No, they didn't. I didn't really like that one.
It's actually a surprisingly decent show. I've actually gone back and watched it.
I loved me some Star Wars, but I did not like the Ewok show.
It's actually not...
I really love Droids, though. Droids
was great. Awesome. Droids was fantastic. I loved it. Another show that was brought up by Wolfenbach in the chat, which I don't think you caught when it was on, was one of the cartoons they showed really early in the morning here in the Boston when I was a kid. It was actually the Mysterious Cities of Gold, which was actually it was a show made by a Japanese studio for a French network. So it was an anime made for France that was imported to the States. And here's
the thing: I remember catching a few episodes of it. Like I remember the theme song. I remember the flying condor thing, robot condor that flew around inside of.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
They eventually found that thing. The show starts off with it's about this kid who comes over, this Spanish kid who comes over to South America and Central America, I think actually.
Yeah.
With Cortez, I think. Looking for the lost cities of gold, and he befriends this I think Inca chick, I forget, girl, either Inca or Mayan, I forget which.
Yep. I remember thinking that was cool when I was a kid.
And so it becomes the kids' adventures, and as they go hunting for the mysterious cities of gold, they end up palling around with this kid, this other kid who was an Olmec, who it turns out were the people behind the mysterious cities of gold because they kind of disappeared.
Right.
And they were super high tech with and there was stuff with people had large numbers of them had died from radiation poisoning, and they had the giant flying Condor spaceship, and it went from this okay, this is kind of neat and sort of historical to wait, where's all this sci-fi stuff coming from? And it's an amazing show. It really is. It's really good. And the opening theme, literally, I stumbled across the opening theme on YouTube one day, and I was like, oh my god, I'd forgotten this show existed. I loved this show. It was really good. It was one of the best. And it's one of the shows that I tell people about and they go, "That wasn't real, was I don't remember that." And they're like I tell them about it, they don't remember. I show them the intro. They go, "Oh my god, I do remember that."
Yeah, because that was exactly what happened to me. It's like that sounds. I'm not sure, but
right. And a few British cartoons made it over here, too. I'm not sure if they were shown on Saturdays, but, Danger Mouse is one we both mentioned.
Danger Mouse is a show I was convinced for the longest time was just a fever dream. Because no one else watched it when I was growing up. I didn't know anyone else that watched it, for the longest time. Until I got to college and I ran into someone else who had it. I was like, holy shit, that was real? Oh my god, do you remember Robotech, too? That's how I met Matt Kurtman.
Yeah, I love Danger Mouse. There was the host of great Disney cartoons too. Starting with the Gummy Bears, which is a show that should not have been good, and was.
Gummy Bears is fucking awesome. Gummy Bears was everything I wanted the Smurfs to be.
Exactly. It's just all of a sudden it's like, wait, how the hell did they take Gummy Bears and turn it into an actual fucking show? Oh, Disney.
Yeah,
Disney when they're actually being good. Oh, I had no idea. And that was what basically and then eventually Disney had their
fucking Duke Ickthorn and
these ogres.
The ogres.
Follow Dookie.
Toady was awesome. Toady was my spirit animal.
Of course he was. But that Gummy Bears is what got Disney into doing regular cartoons on television. It's effectively what brought us DuckTales and
DuckTales and
Rescue
Gargoyles
Rangers and then Gargoyles and
Gargoyles is part of the '90s Renaissance, though.
I think Gargoyles was late '80s technically.
I'm pretty sure it was '90s because I remember it was watching it in conjunction with Batman the Animated Series, which is '92.
I'm looking it up now. It started. You're right. It is '90s. The Gargoyles started in '94.
'94. That's it. Yeah,
All
and
right.
Batman was also '94, '95.
But yeah, like I really liked Rescue Rangers. DuckTales was fun. Oh, and of course the amazingness that was Darkwing Duck.
Yes,
Oh my God, Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing fucking Duck.
The one time I didn't hate Launchpad.
I always kind of liked Launchpad. He was
Infuriating.
competent. He was hyper competent, except when it came to actually landing the fucking thing. He really could fly anything that went through the air. He just could never land it. Tailspin.
Yeah, Tailspin. Tailspin was also really good.
Stupid place for a wall. Smash.
Tailspin had
Don Carnage
Carnage.
and his Sky Pirates.
Don Carnage was amazing. And his Sky Pirates,
Of his indeterminate but ever thick accent.
Yes. Well, he's Don Carnage. He's, Spanishish.
Yeah, he was a hyena fox thing. They never really established.
He was some sort of canine pirate, sky pirate. He was a sky pirate.
He was a sky pirate, and he had a giant friggin' dreadnought which launched.
It was not a. That was a Zeppelin of Doom.
Yes,
That thing was a Zeppelin. I believe it was. Actually, no, I'm not sure it was a Zeppelin.
No, it was entirely steel. It was entirely steel, and it had rotors on it.
Well, of course it did. But
like vertical thrust rotors.
yeah. Oh, it was like a giant. It was like
a giant beak that would open up, and all the planes come swarming out.
It was a helicarrier. It was like the prototype of the Shield helicarrier in some ways.
That's exactly what it was.
I mean, I think it technically came out after the Shield had
almost
one,
certainly, but it was awesome.
It was almost certainly inspired, honestly, by Shield helicarrier.
Fucking GoBots. You remember GoBots?
Yeah, Transformers. That was nowhere near as good.
Yep, badly animated, poor character design.
Apparently, it's better in the original in Japanese is better, but it's still terrible.
It's animated so poorly.
Oh yes.
My God.
Oh yes, and the toys were lame. Oh my God.
I don't know. The motorcycle guy was kind of cool.
He was one of the few ones that actually had any effort into transforming.
Yeah. I like the motorcycle guy.
Psykill.
That was his name.
Yep.
Yes.
And the other evil guy, Coptour.
He was dumb.
The names were some. The fact that the leader of the leader of our Hiroko bots was Leader 1 is all you need to know, really.
Yeah. But yeah, they very much felt like budget Transformers.
No, it was not budget Transformers. That's giving it too much credit. It was really bad.
I remember they also had a big dreadnought that would transform.
Zod.
Yes.
With a giant red button that was hit would turn the thing off.
Yes.
That's the term that my friends and I have come up with, the Zod button.
And people would always just punch straight through him when they're flying by.
Zod was lame because GoBots was lame.
Yeah. And then Transformers showed them how to do giant transforming robots with Trypticon. Fuck yeah, Trypticon.
Yeah. I'm not as big a fan of these super giant Transformers.
It was a giant friggin' transformer with laser breath that turned into a city. Trypticon was fucking awesome.
The problem is that I was sort of super giant transformered out after all the combining ones.
Yeah, fair enough.
Devastator existed. I mean,
Devastator's pretty awesome, but they had the Aerials and the Predacons.
Predacons were not bad. There were the Terracons, I think.
The Terracons, yeah, because there were scary Predacons.
Well, they were basically all monsters.
Yeah,
which is one of those. Wait, aren't your disguises supposed to make you hard to notice?
Disguises?
Okay, apparently not.
But then they had Triptychon. That made everything better because he turned into a giant black and purple dinosaur with laser breath.
Yes, Abominus. He was the one who became Abominus. I forget what the
Right,
group they
right.
called was became Bruticus. Although Bruticus had a
Bruticus was the Predacons.
no,
No?
no, Bruticus was someone else. The Predacons was Predaking.
You're right. You're right. Who was Bruticus?
I forget the name of the group, but
He was definitely like he was definitely a baddie. Like
oh yeah, well most of them were.
yeah,
The Autobots had I think two.
yeah.
One was
They had the
Computron.
Aerials.
That was one of them, and the other was Computron.
Yep.
And Computron gave Bruticus his one shining moment of glory, where he's basically because Computron became super intelligent in his super robot form, and Bruticus is an idiot. Most of the giant robots were kind of dumb, honestly.
Yeah.
Like they were stupider than the individual parts, as a general rule of thumb.
Especially Devastator.
They had three. Gavin
Devastator couldn't even talk. He just broke stuff.
But there was this wonderful bit where he's going on about something or other, and Bruticus comes in and clocks Computron and just knocks it in. He goes, "Computron, think too much."
Yes.
And it's like, you go, Bruticus. You lose all the time because the Decepticon giant robots all sucked in combat. It turned out,
Except for Devastator,
who was a complete
Devastator
badass.
was their big gun.
Devastator was a complete badass, a moron, but a complete badass.
Devastator was the guy who's just like, make sure he's when they combine, make sure he's pointed in the right direction and just let him go.
Yep. And the thing is, I mean, he was the original combiner, and my God, it just
Devastator is the reason why I've come very close to painting one of my Warjacks lime green and purple.
Devastator. The Transformers hold a soft spot in my heart.
They really.
I'm not a huge Transformers fan, really.
I love the movie to death.
Oh yeah, it's a fun movie. There's good episodes. There were great episodes of the show. The comic books were actually really good.
Yes, the comic books are classic, from what I understand.
And significantly darker than the TV show, unsurprisingly. It actually crossed over with the G.I. Joe at one point, which is kind of hilarious.
Yep, which is awesome.
Cobra Commander and Megatron trying to work together is actually kind of hilarious, honestly.
I remember even as a kid thinking like, Megatron, why don't you just shoot Starscream? Just shoot Starscream. I know you like keeping around to like as an example of like this is what happens when you plot against me. I just beat you up and then let you stick around because I'm that unworried. But he fucks up so many of your plans.
Yeah,
Just shoot Starscream.
The problem is that Starscream is actually in a lot of ways useful.
Yes, Starscream was the only guy that could actually hit things with a gun with the Decepticons.
Well, no. Do not slander Soundwave.
Soundwave was awesome, but who did but whenever Megatron transformed into his gun form, it was always friggin' Starscream that picked it up because he was the best shot.
Also, Soundwave didn't need extra help because Soundwave was that badass.
That is also true. Soundwave was fucking awesome.
There's one other one who could shoot, but he was never on Earth, really. Which is Shockwave.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
The other gun.
Shockwave.
Yep, Shockwave.
Shockwave is awesome.
Yes, he was.
I've only got one hand because my other hand is always a gun. Yet somehow I still type faster than all the Autobots, which is why I rule Cybertron.
Had to be the most bored robot in existence. Setting all those millions of years sitting there on Cybertron doing basically nothing. I mean, he must have played.
I've watched this.
He must have beaten
all the cyber porn on Cybertron.
He must have finished every possible playthrough of Free Cell.
Yes. There was a scene that got cut from the movie where the initial fighting. I read about this years ago, but the initial fighting against during the big climax against Unicron, where the Autobots Decepticons actually start like coordinating and doing real damage to him, and then Unicron like starts listening to the radio waves, goes like figures out it's coming from that tower. And it cuts to inside the tower with Shockwave coordinating the attacks. So Unicron just goes, squit, and everything falls back apart again. Ended up getting cut for space. They never animated it. But
that's kind of cool. And
yes.
And Soundwave, I totally believe he's the linchpin.
Not Soundwave,
Shockwave. I believe it of either of them, honestly. Because Soundwave is the hyper competent Decepticon.
Yeah.
And the one who was the only one that Megatron could actually trust. Completely.
Yeah.
Soundwave was entirely Megatron's the boss. I follow Megatron. I am loyal to him. Also, Megatron was actually, despite being crazy, kind of competent.
Yeah, he didn't really start to get stupid until he became Galvatron.
Well, yeah, Galvatron was crazy and stupid. Megatron was crazy and smart.
Yes.
And of course, this all eventually led to my favorite Transformers show, Beast Wars.
Yeah, Beast Wars.
Which we both lauded immensely on the show before, but Beast Wars Megatron is one of my favorite villains.
The bit where he's sitting there brushing the teeth of his dinosaur head.
Well, yeah, the fact that he's got a rubber ducky,
Yep.
which he has in his regen pool. The fact that the eyes on the head, which is the end of his arm in his first form, move on their own and look around.
Yep.
Which is a little disconcerting. And there's all these wonderful little bits to the Beast Wars. I wish the animation stood up better. The later episodes,
the animation, it was top notch back in the day.
Well, it didn't start out that top notch. It got much better as the show went on. Much better. The early episodes are really rough. But it was really well written. It had, as I said, Megatron was brilliant and was great, and eventually went crazy with power, because that's what happens to Decepticon leaders when you throw them to lava. It turns out.
Yes. They're like Sith that way. It just sort of makes them more powerful, but also stupid.
Megatron, the Beast Wars Megatron didn't become stupid. He became crazy.
Yes. You throw a Decepticon leader in lava, they become
more powerful,
but burns away all their sanity and brains. You throw a Sith into lava, it burns away all the emo, leaving pure metal. That's how you ended up with Darth Vader.
But you look at Beast Wars and like the writing in that show was just really clever, and and there was wonderful humor, and it had one of my favorite Transformers characters in Dinobot, who was amazing.
Yeah, Dinobot was friggin' awesome. Dinobot was a good guy I actually rooted for. I'd never root for the good guys.
I actually think it's
excepting Robotech.
There were members. I actually liked most of the good guys in Beast Wars, honestly.
Rat Trap annoyed the fuck out of me.
I loved Rat Trap. Rat Trap was great. Cheetor was supposed to be annoying. And the wonderful thing about Cheetor is the fact that he would get his ass kicked always by Tarantulas.
Yes.
Even in his own fucking dream. And Rat Trap would be Tarantulas, but in a clever, fun way. Because Rat Trap was the thing about Rat Trap is he was the clever Snively hero. He was a guile hero. He was street smart, and that he was the sort of the antithesis to Tarantulas' mad scientist.
Tarantulas was awesome.
He's a great villain, wonderful villain. Loved him, and honestly, Optimus Prime, Primal was great. He's a good hero, a good leader. Rhinox was a great character.
Yeah, Rhinox is pretty cool.
And they just kept adding good characters to the show. They were actual characters when they added them.
Black Arachne.
Black Arachne was great. And there's all these wonderful little reveals,
fucking Ravage shows up.
Yeah, Ravage shows. Yeah,
the original fucking Ravage. I remember the original Megatron.
Yeah, Rampage is this wonderful, just abjectly terrifying murder monster.
Yeah,
and
Who was Rampage again?
He was the crab thing, the immortal.
Crab. Right.
The one he was immortal because they basically they were trying to recreate Starscream's immortal spark.
Right.
And they succeeded, but he was crazy and uncontrollable.
And dumb.
He wasn't that dumb, actually. He was just a psychopath. He was uncontrollable.
That's true, yeah. I'm accusing most of it. It was just he would do things that I would think it was dumb as a kid, but I was like, no, that makes sense when your bloodlust gets the best of you.
Right.
Having been an adult, and yeah, sometimes it just gets the best.
And the Megatron found a way to control him, which was he split his immortal spark in half and used that half to create the new Dinobot.
Yep.
So whenever he whenever he got out of control, he'd start squishing it and causing him pain, which is just oh god. And they also had the most hilarious Transformer ever in Waspinator, who is the best.
Oh, poor Waspinator. The
Waspinator
sad
not
sack
want
for
to
the
die.
Predators.
Waspinator had plans. Uh, Waspinator. Yeah, unfortunately, they did a sequel series, Beast Machines, which was not good.
No, no. For some reason, Megatron is now a dragon.
Well, he was a dragon. He was a dragon towards the end of. That was his upgrade, power upgrade, when he just got thrown in the
That's
plasma.
right. Yeah, yeah.
But like the thing about it is, like there were big moments where like the bad guys had big victories in that show. Like Megatron basically just about wins. He successfully figures out. He successfully nearly ends it like destroys the Autobots and the Maximals.
Yep.
I mean, it's saved like literally by Deus Ex Machina, effectively, but it worked in the context of the show because he blew off. He realized that, oh god, I'm on Earth. Okay, my original plan to wipe out humanity, which is what actually saved before they could come in existence, was thwarted by Dinobot, and that means that they will be around to help out the Autobots. And it turned out that's actually a linchpin for them. Fuck. All right, well that plan didn't work. Fine, I'm going to change history in a really big way. I'm going to go just kill Optimus Prime while he's in hypersleep. And he goes in and he literally blows Optimus Prime's head off.
Yes, that was awesome.
And he comes out with the greatest villain monologue ever. Where he walks out and he says, "Say goodbye to the universe, Maximals. The Autobots lose. Evil triumphs. And you no longer exist." As the universe is falling apart around them. It's like, fuck. And that ends the episode. Did I watch the next episode? You damn well bet I did.
Straight, yeah.
What a cliffhanger. Holy fuck. I wish the show animation stood up well enough today. It's like, even for me who's not as big on animation as Eric, it's kind of harder in the early episodes.
The early CG and for a lot of stuff is just so, I can't get past it, and it's a shame because I usually am pretty good at like taking into
account the era, yeah,
an era's technology and techniques and whatnot.
Yeah,
but like early CG is just I can't do it. I love Reboot too, and I can't rewatch that show.
I know its writing's so good, but the animation's just like it's
fucking Ash shows up. Ash from Evil Dead shows up.
I
in
know.
that episode.
It was a great show. Oh god. Well, we could talk about cartoons pretty much all night,
forever and ever.
But
and ever.
we're gone a bit long here.
We have.
So I think that's going to do it for this week. Whew, we probably could talk about cartoons again, and we probably will at some point. No, not probably. We're going to talk about cartoons again.
We're
at some point
talk about cartoons again. It's
we keep revisiting topics because they're fun to talk about.
And cartoons are awesome. Everyone loves cartoons.
Not everyone, sadly. But anyways, thank
Everyone
you guys.
Worth talking to.
At any rate, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We hope you found something either interesting or useful or entertaining in all of this madness. We record the show every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch, hitbox.tv/mechagm, /mecha-gm specifically. There's a hyphen between the A and the GM. And we usually have time at the end of each episode for viewer questions. We didn't have any this week. Also, we ran long anyways. I would have forgotten.
As we're wont to do when we really get into a project.
But if you have questions, you can email them to us. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com. Or you can hit us up on our forums, which you can find at mechagm.forumer.com. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, just leave a comment on the YouTubes. It's youtube.com/mechagm. And that's going to do it for this week. If you got feedback for us, ways we can make the show better, show topic suggestions.
All of those things are awesome and greatly desired.
Send them to us. Email us. Forum us. Post it on YouTube comments, etc. I also tweet out when the show's going to go live. Keep an eye on my Twitter. My Twitter handle is @mechagm. And that's going to do it. I think that's all the whole spiel.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Great. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next week with some damn fool topic.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Probably about 10 minutes before we actually go live.
Probably. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Until we see you guys next, be happy, be safe, keep on gaming, and we will see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, humans.